Good morning. I hope you're all doing well. I found out there's more to this than I thought. So we're doing chapter 8 today. We're not going any further. How are you? Tina's back. All right, wonderful. Welcome. Okay, and Matthew 5:1 states that Jesus went up to a mountain. And as Matthew 8 begins, Jesus had come down from the mountain. So from 5, 6, and 7 were all the Sermon on the Mount. Amazing. 3 chapters devoted to the Sermon on the Mount, which is also where we get the Lord's Prayer from, to pray in this manner. Not necessarily pray these exact words. Hello, Auntie Mama. How are you? During his earthly ministry, Jesus performed more miracles than the biblical writers could possibly record or even count. Matthew strategically selected 10 miracles to establish graphically and undeniably Jesus' authority over virtually every realm of human existence. At work, to listen. All right, wonderful. Thank you for being here. That would have been amazing to be there among them. Yes, it would have, Tina. If you think of them as pieces of evidence presented in a court of law taken together, they paint a portrait of Jesus as King of Kings, a verdict that no unbiased, open-minded, honest juror could possibly deny, unless you hated him, hated what he was doing. But to me, this would have been wonderful. Jesus claimed to be God, and miracles prove him to be so. C.S. Lewis says God does not shake miracles into nature at random, as if from a pepper caster. pepper shaker. They come on great occasions. They are found at the great ganglions of history, not of political or social history, but of that spiritual history which cannot be fully known by men. Hi, Kiki. How are you? Reaching out, Matthew 1 through 4. I'm reading from the New King James Version. When he had come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him. And behold, a leper came and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Have we ever asked God, God, if you are willing, you will heal my body? I just ask him to heal my body all the time. Just returned from food shopping. Awesome, Kiki. So you can spend your time with us. Woohoo! If you are willing, you can make me clean. Then Jesus put out his hand and touched him, saying, I am willing, be cleansed. Immediately his leprosy was cleansed, and Jesus said to him, see that you tell no one, but go your way, show yourself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moses commanded as a testimony to them. Can you believe that? Hello, Shatika. How are you? To God be the glory. Yes. Tina says, great, Kiki. I just finished food eating for breakfast. You're funny. Kiki says, yes, and received a senior discount. Awesome. I think Dylan's will give a discount on Wednesdays to seniors. I never go on Wednesdays. It's not a good time for me. I got to go today. Jesus touched a leper. There's more to this statement than meets the eye. Well, you get a discount every Tuesday. Wonderful. During New Testament times, lepers were the outcasts of society. Of any discounts, anytime we can get them. Yeah, but Wednesdays are not my day for shopping. Wednesdays are, I got to go today because tonight we go to Taco Tuesday and we got to celebrate. So I got to buy a cake. So I go today. Okay, during New Testament times, lepers were the outcasts of society. This dread disease was highly contagious, and there was no known cure. When a person contracted leprosy, a priest declared him a leper, and in so doing, literally banished him from his home, his family, and his community. Exiled to a colony of other lepers, He or she died a slow, agonizing death, humiliating and torturous death. And yet Jesus touched him. Jesus could have merely spoken the word, and the man would have healed outwardly. By touching him, Jesus healed him inwardly. The kind of healing that can only come through human contact. Veterans get 10% off on the first Tuesday of every month at Ollie's. Awesome. And Tina says that's better than outward. Yep. Lepers, LS, what others say? LS Huizenga, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, talked about what leprosy is. Leprosy generally begins with pain in certain areas of the body. Numbness follows. Soon the skin in such spots loses its original color. It gets to be thick, glossy, and scaly. As the sickness progresses, the thickened spots become dirty sores and ulcers due to poor blood supply. The skin, especially between the swellings, the skin, especially around the eyes and ears, begins to bunch with deep furrows between the swellings so that the face of the afflicted individual begins to resemble that of a lion. Fingers drop off, toes are affected similarly, eyebrows and eyelashes drop out. The leper emits a very unpleasant odor. The voice acquires a grating quality. His throat becomes hoarse, and you can now not only see, feel, and smell the leper, but you can hear his rasping voice. And if you stay with him for some time, you can even imagine a peculiar taste in your mouth, probably due to the odor. Wow. God bless you, Auntie Mama. Have a great day. That this man believed Jesus could heal him was incredible. That he would dare to approach Jesus, something forbidden in the Old Testament law, was remarkable. But that Jesus would actually touch him was utterly unthinkable. And something to ponder. Jesus wasn't some kind of magician who went about the countryside trying to dazzle people with his heavenly bag of tricks. He was and is God. Jesus knew that the man needed an emotional healing as well as a physical one. How Jesus healed the leper demonstrated his kingly authority over physical and emotional disease. What others say, Chuck Swindoll says, God our Father is the God of all comfort, who comforts us in all our affliction. Our loving Father is never preoccupied or removed when we are enduring sadness and affliction. Wow. Okay, let's read verses 5 through 13. I'm reading in the New King James. Follow along in whatever version you have. Now, when Jesus had entered Capernaum, a centurion came to him, pleading with him, saying, Lord, my servant is lying at home paralyzed, dreadfully tormented. And Jesus said to him, I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof, but only speak a word, and my servant will be healed. For I am also a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this one, go, and he goes. And to another, come, and he comes. And to my servant, do this, and he does it. When Jesus heard it, he marveled and said to those who followed, assuredly, I say to you, I have not found such great faith, not even in Israel. Hello, Elaine. How are you? And I say to you that many will come from east and west and sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the sons of the kingdom will be cast out into outer darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then Jesus said to the centurion, go your way, and as you have believed, so let it be done for you. And his servant was healed that same hour. Okay, then they go on and talk about the geographics areas, and I'm not interested in that as much. But with this backdrop, a centurion, a deathly powerful Roman officer, dared to approach Jesus, who is a humble Jewish rabbi, asking for his help. Amazing doesn't quite capture this scene, but other superlatives equally fail to convey just how amazing it was for the powerful to approach a powerless, a Roman to approach a rabbi, a Jew to feel anything other than a deep loathing for this centurion. Having heard of Jesus, and perhaps even seeing what he has been doing, observing him, the centurion reasoned that if his authority over his men caused them to carry out his every command, Jesus' authority over sickness caused disease to obey his every command. As one loyal to this Roman regime admitted, I am not worthy that you should come under my roof. That's Matthew 8:8. He then correctly concluded that Jesus needed only to speak a word, and my servant will be healed. At that very moment, Jesus uttered the words, "As you have believed, so let it be done for you." And the centurion's servant was healed. Awesome. It's cold here and it's chilly here too, says Tina. All right. Well, after the devotional this morning, we got a little bit of rain, but it stopped now. But I was pleasantly surprised. Even though it only rained for like maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Another person, Charles Caldwell Ryrie, says faith is only as good as the object in which it is placed. Self-generated faith is only as good as the person who generates it. Sign-encouraged faith may evaporate in the routines of life, but faith in the eternal living Word of God will never disappoint or dissipate. Okay, verses 14 through 17 says, "Now when Jesus had come into Peter's house, he saw his wife's mother, Peter's wife's mother, lying sick with a fever. So he touched her hand and the fever left her. And she arose and served them. When evening had come, they brought to him many who were demon-possessed, and he cast out the spirits with a word, and he healed all who were sick, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, He himself took our infirmities and bore our sickness." Awesome. Peter's mother-in-law suffered because of a fever, quote unquote fever, a general term that broadly refers to an elevated body temperature characteristic of a whole range of possible disorders. Keeping in mind that as a former tax collector, Matthew was primarily a money man, we turn to Luke's parallel account to obtain more precise diagnosis. He attributes the woman's suffering to a high fever, a commonly life-threatening condition. Matthew records that Jesus touched the patient's hand. Luke records that Jesus rebuked the fever. You'll remember that Jesus healed the leper through contact and the centurion's servant with a command. Here he combined the two and healed her with both his touch and his words. Matthew 8:16 simply says, Jesus healed all who were sick. Tim LaHaye says, if a man came onto the world scene healing lepers, restoring paraplegics, reconstructing crippled limbs, and restoring sight to the blind, we would instantly acclaim him more than a man. We might even call him a God in human flesh. Taken in sheer totality, we begin to understand what Jesus meant when he said, "The works that I do bear witness of me." They prove his claim to be the unique Son of God. With so many examples from which to choose, why did Matthew select these three particular miracles to record in his gospel? The culture of the Middle East during New Testament times regarded four groups of people as outcasts in society: lepers, Gentiles, slaves, and women. Whom did Jesus heal? A leper, a Gentile's servant, and a woman. Wow. To a corrupted culture that prided itself on excluding people, Jesus included as many as would come. Jesus clearly is a compassionate king whose kingdom is open to all. Jesus healed everyone who came to him, just as Isaiah 53 verse 4 predicted he would. That is a prophecy fulfilled. Let me go to Isaiah 53 4. I want to read that. Isaiah 53 verse 4. Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering, yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him and afflicted. Okay. That is very interesting. Okay, 18 through 22 of Matthew chapter 8. And when Jesus saw great multitudes about him, he gave a command to depart to the other side. Then a certain scribe came and said to him, "Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go." And Jesus said to him, "Foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." Then another of his disciples said to him, "Lord, let me first go and bury my father." But Jesus said to him, "Follow me and let the dead bury their own dead." That sounds pretty harsh, but there is a reason for that, and I'm going to explain that to you. Someone once said nothing succeeds like success, and boy, that sure was true about Jesus. After the word spread about all his miracles, everyone wanted to jump on the Jesus bandwagon. One guy said, "I will follow you wherever you go." He wanted all the privileges, but failed to count the cost. Jesus essentially replied, "You'd better be careful what you ask for. I don't even own a home. The birds live better than me." Another guy wanted to jump on board, but like so many, his was a spur of the moment, ill-motivated, half-hearted commitment. He wanted to wait until he received his inheritance. He wanted a commitment that demanded no risk. William Barclay says, Again and again, there comes to us moments of impulse when we are moved to the higher things, and again, we let them pass without acting upon them. The tragedy of life is so often the tragedy of the unseized moment. Jesus was saying to this man, "Follow me now, or you will never follow me at all." Wow. Verses 23 through 27 in the New King James Version says, "Now when he got into the boat, his disciples followed him. And suddenly a great tempest arose on the sea, so that the boat was covered with the waves." Uh-oh. But he was asleep. Then his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, "Lord, save us, we are perishing." But he said to them, "Why are you fearful, O you of little faith?" Then he rose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. So the men marveled, saying, "Who can this be, that even the winds and the sea obey him?" The fishermen of Jesus' day lived in mortal terror of storms on the Sea of Galilee. Normally, it's so calm, so picturesque, so tranquil. In a matter of minutes, a placid sea could become a liquid cauldron of convulsions when just the right combination of atmospheric conditions spun the lake like some gigantic blender. Wow. Jesus demonstrated his regal authority over the natural realm when he calmed the fierce storm. Two weather-related dynamics come into play whenever a storm of this magnitude whips up the sea. From the north, cold air blowing over the perpetually snow-capped Mount Hermon rushes 10,000 feet down the southern face of the majestic mountain, warming as it descends into the Jordan River Rift. By the time these winds reach the Sea of Galilee, the unstable air spins and twirls, not unlike a tornado. In addition, from the west, the prevailing winds that blow in off the Mediterranean funnel their way through a huge triangular crack in the hillside that looks down upon the western shore of the sea, accelerating to a dizzying speed as it is squeezed through this natural wind tunnel. When these two forceful currents of wind collide over the water, the otherwise mirror-like calmness of the sea explodes into waves, boasting of height of some 10 to 15 feet. Fishermen then and now feared this occurrence more than any other. And only God could still a storm like that. We sure could use a little of that calming of the sea right now. Yep, sure can. I need a drink. I'm getting lightheaded, dizzy. Okay, verses 28 through 34. When he had come to the other side, to the country of the Gergesenes, I guess. There he met 2 demon-possessed men coming out of the tombs, exceedingly fierce, so that no one could pass that way. And suddenly they cried out, saying, "What have we to do with you, Jesus, you Son of God? Have you come here to torment us before the time?" Now a good way off from them there was a herd of many swine feeding. So the demons begged him, saying, "If you cast us out, permit us to go away into the herd of swine." And he said to them, "Go." So when they had come out, they went into the herd of swine, and suddenly the whole herd of swine ran violently down the steep place into the sea and perishing in the water. Then those who kept them fled, and they went away into the city and told everything, including what had happened to the demon-possessed men. And behold, the whole city came out to meet Jesus. And when they saw him, they begged him to depart from their region. That is sad. They cared more about the pigs than about Jesus. Whenever you read the words "the other side" in reference to the Sea of Galilee, sit up and take notice. Something bad is about to happen. So it was in this case. Okay, so it was in this case. Just when the disciples' feet hit the ground, and they were tempted to think that having survived the fateful journey, they thought all would be well. These terrified 12 were accosted by 2 men possessed by a legion of demons. How many is a legion? On the side of my Bible, it tells me a legion was up to 6,000. Can you imagine being possessed by 6,000 demons? Or since there were 2 men, 3,000 demons each? Holy cow. In this case, Jesus demonstrated his kingly authority over the supernatural realm when he cast a legion of demons out of 2 men. The townspeople where this miracle occurred begged Jesus to depart from their region. Why do you think? Why? And it gives 4 possible reasons. Yeah, we were not promised a life with no trials to go through. Trials is what God uses to make us more like Christ. Right? Okay, so some of the possible reasons. Some say the people were angry because Jesus had just wrecked the economy of the region by commanding a large herd of 2,000 pigs to stampede down the hill into the water to their deaths. Some believe the people were terrified by what had occurred and wanted Jesus to leave out of sheer panic. Third reason, others conclude that these heathens wanted nothing to do with the Son of God. And the fourth, most likely there are some elements of truth in each of these views. For sure, the response of the people indicates the callousness of their hearts and their total lack of compassion. They cared more about their pigs than the men who now sat at the feet of Jesus, clothed and in their right minds. No wonder they were afraid. They cared more about the pigs than those two that were healed of demon possession. Demon possession can take place today, but within these scriptural guidelines. If believers in Christ resist the devil, he must flee. Believers in Christ cannot be demon possessed. That is 1 Corinthians 6, 19 and 20. The first one is in James 4, 7. If we resist the devil, he must flee. Kiki says, I can never understand why anyone would hate Jesus. Such a loving and merciful God. Yes. He will also display all the sins, secret sins you have. He will bring them out. That's why people don't want to be around him. They want to keep on sinning, living in their filth. Okay, a third thing is demon possession is indicated by specific, remarkable, and obvious characteristics that include such things as uncontrollable violence, homicidal or suicidal tendencies, phenomenal strength, loud and disturbing cries, nakedness, an obsession with the dead, a recognition of Jesus as God, and a fear of their final destination. That can be found in Matthew 8:28, Mark 5, verses 4 and 5, and Luke 8, verses 27 and 28. Apply it. The best antidote against demonic harassment is to live an obedient life. James 4, verses 7 and 8 is God's prescription for demon-free living. Therefore, submit to God. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. Draw near to God and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. That was James 4, verses 7 and 8. that is where we're ending today. To me, that was a lot. I hope you don't mind. I have to finish eating because I'm getting lightheaded. That would be hard writing that many. 16s and one person. Reading that many. Okay. Makes a little more sense. Tomorrow or the next day we will finish this chapter, which goes up to 934. I can't finish it today. Yes, it was very informative. So remember, submit to God. Resist the devil and the devil will flee from you. Draw near to the Lord and he will draw near to you. To me, that is a wonderful verse, something worth memorizing, a memory verse. I'm going to write that down. And I'm going to get it in the NIV. I'm going to go to James chapter 4, verse 7. 7 and 8. But I don't want to do all of 8. James 4, 7 and 8a. You're welcome. I hope you've enjoyed this study. Tomorrow or the next day, we will be doing up to 9 verse 34. So 9:1 to 9:34. God bless you. Thank you all for being here. Have a great day, everyone. Bye for now.